You're listening to the Career Plus Life Catch-Up, episode number 99. Welcome to the Career Plus Life Catch-Up, a show anchored in reality to help you create a balanced life where you enjoy both your work and your life, because you don't have to choose. I'm your host, Cecile Ferry, a corporate executive turned coach and working mom. This is your place for insights, advice, and tools to optimize your career direction, balance, and confidence. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get into it. Hello, my beautiful friends. So I'm back with you today, which I'm super pleased about. I hope you had a good month of August. I hope that you've enjoyed the podcast episode that I had recorded in advance on how do your weeks feel, and that episode on self-sabotage. I hope that was instructive. I hope that was interesting and you learned new things and new tools to apply in your life. So I'm recording this at the beginning of September. I'm now back from my trip in France and it was beautiful. Kind of always is when you go, you escape the Austrian winter and you get to go in the European summer. I had beautiful sunshine, enjoyed time catching up with my parents, especially having really good chats with them. I really cherish that every year because it doesn't happen otherwise. And likewise, therefore, it was a little hard to come back, I will admit. My heart was really happy over there and I completely switched off work and all my mental load was literally gone, which is heaven. So if you're listening to this, you might be like, yeah, I need some of that. And I really hope that this year you have been able to have that, or at some stage you can, because emptying your head, emptying your mind is so critical. So I love that. And for that reason, I wasn't really keen to come back and stuff my head full of admin details, to-do things. But that is life and life how we know it. So I took my time to come back. It took me about a week to get over the jet lag and to fully land into my body, into my schedule, into my life here, which is vastly different. But pleased to say, we are back on. I have already had some client sessions. It's been really good. And I'm back to the podcast. And actually, I'm back, but this is going to be a special episode, which is going to be the last of what I will call season 1. You didn't know, but that was season 1, because I have reached episode number 99. And I won't go into all the details, but I will launch something new in the near future. And I want to start at episode 100. Why? I don't know. I like the idea of it and I need to push myself to get it done. So 100 it is. So I wanted today to use this episode to do a bit of a wrap up of everything that I have covered. This is going to be a very long episode. No, don't worry. I'm not going to repeat everything I said, but I've decided to pick 3 key tips, like major pieces of advice that I want to leave with you after doing those nearly first 100 episodes. They were heavily focused on career coaching. Some were focused on life coaching. There were a lot of episodes on mindset as well. But today I'm going to wrap it up with sharing the 3 main things I really want you to take away when it comes to career coaching. For each of those 3 themes, I'm going to send you back to some podcast episodes that really relate that you can go and listen to. So this is a little bit like an index podcast in a way. And if you have found my podcast only recently, this is perfect for you because you get a really nice summary at episode number 99. So I'm going to tell you at the end what's going to happen beyond this season. And so you have to listen until then. Are we ready, my friend? Let's get into it. Piece of advice number 1. You can change career direction. Okay, so let me pull this apart because you're like, yeah, okay. I know that. But what I mean by that is there are options, there are possibilities, there's a way. And I would say pretty much 100% of the time. I'm yet to see one person, one client that I couldn't help. But that is not what the world will say to you. And especially I hear that quite a lot. Clients coming to me or friends saying, this is really what I want to do. I believe I sort of can, but when I talk to recruiters, they've been saying to me, no, you cannot apply for that. You will never get in. Or you have other naysayers, they can be partners, they can be friends who are trying to be there for you, but let's face it, they project a lot onto you and they're not the best advice that you can have. So you might have a lot of people saying you will not get this job or you can't, or that's just not feasible, that's not possible for you. And I am not saying those people are wrong. I am going to say very clearly here, yes, there is a whole body of people whose job it is to tick the boxes and to put people into jobs. And that's one part of the economy and one part of the world, and it's completely valid. And I do appreciate and value the work that recruiters do. They're very good at their job, at their art. They find people, they place them. They're really that person, that matchmaker in the middle, and we need those. But that is not all. And especially when you're looking at crafting your new career direction, I don't want you to fall into those schemes and to try to fit in with that system, because if you start trying to do that, you're going to hit the wall and you're going to give up, and I don't want that for you. And really, it doesn't have to be that way. So I want you to ignore all of those people that say you have to tick the boxes. You have to have the perfect resume that leads to that. And frankly, between you and I, it's freaking boring, right? And when we want to change, when we want more meaning, when we want something more fulfilling, we don't want to be doing the same thing somewhere else. The exact from A to A+1, that kind of mini lateral move where you've done exactly the same. You're the perfect candidate because you're very qualified. Like, thank you, but no thank you. That is not what you want when you want a proper change, when you want to realign with who you really are. And I'm going to get to that in number 2, heads up for today. So I want you to think about trusting your inner knowing, trusting your interest, trusting your passion, and to carve your way. And literally changing jobs like that is actually a change of identity at your core with you and who you are to the world in a professional sense, but even overall as yourself. But that identity is just an evolution. It's a shift. And so you can't talk to people who do not cater for that, who are just looking for someone who is the whole identity of you, if that makes sense. So only you can really steer that ship and build that path. With the help of a coach like me, of course, you're not going to get other people saying, yeah, this is right, and you can do this, you can do that, because by definition, you're evolving who you are. And you know that because you've got the hunches, you've got the cues within you that keep pulling at you and keep saying, this would be really great, or I keep being interested in that. So you have to lead that career direction journey, and you need to support yourself with people like me who do believe that it's possible. And I've helped many, 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 many people like you before, put them into those jobs, and thank God they came to me, because otherwise, if they were looking online or just speaking to recruiters, they would have given up. They would never be in the job that is right for them at this point in their life. So, you can just look on my website. I have plenty of testimonials, so many success stories that really show that it's possible and that you have to carve your own path. So I'm not saying you can do anything. Like if overnight you want to become a surgeon, that has a heavy price tag in terms of cost of entry and energy and time and all of that. But what I can say is 100% once you know what is your thing, you can build a path from where you are, which is no longer you, as we just discussed, to where you desire to be, which is the real you now that you're just starting to grasp. So see, like, this is such a personal journey as well. Like, who are those people, those external people who don't know you? Like, how can they best advise you on that? I hope you're really getting what I'm trying to explain, because I have been doing this over and over with so many clients and 99 episodes, that this is the path. And the new direction really depends on you. How far off the new direction is really depends. I have seen some clients, they're just going to pivot somewhere that they feel comfortable with. And some people will do a drastic change. Like, I have covered that in my Career Change series, episode 12 to 15. I highly, highly recommend you go and binge and listen to all of those 4 episodes if you are thinking about a career change journey, because you are going to learn so much and that will shift your entire perspective on it. And you won't find that anywhere online. Like, this is stuff that I have uncovered, that I have mastered myself in my coaching practice. So you have stories, I think it's the last episode of the series, where I share some success stories and I show you the drastic changes that people have made. And what happens is sometimes we do make those big changes because we were in the wrong lane by quite a mile. And that's okay. But sometimes we're really not playing to our skills and our talents. And when people come and find me, they're like, okay, enough. And I'm ready to discover what it really is. And they kind of know already, but I'm helping them uncover that and have confidence in their decision. Okay, so to wrap up this piece of advice, I will say, don't wait for external validation. Don't wait for an approved structure out there. You won't find it, but you do it yourself. You lead the way and you get some support from a coach that you trust and that you connect with. So just to leave you with some further references on this topic, if that is where you're at, I've mentioned the Career Change series, episode 12 to 15. You can go and listen to The Perfect Job, which is the very first episode. Number 5 is Finding Your Career Path, is a really good one. Number 9 is Should I Study, if that's what you're thinking about. Number 31 is How to Get the Right Career Advice. And number 68 is about career journeys and redirections. So I'm going to put those in the show notes as well, but all very, very good pointers on this specific topic. Okay, theme number 2, piece of advice number 2. Always, always, always go back to your values. I want to say, whatever happens in your career journey, whether you're being made redundant, whether you're not happy, you are frustrated about a situation, things are not working, you are doubting what to do, you've got dilemmas, or there is change happening around you and you're not sure what that's going to mean or how you're going to adjust. Like, pretty much whenever you need to ground yourself, maybe when the ground is shaking a little bit under you, whatever it is, I always recommend you go back to your values. It's like your safe spot and it is your best compass to behave and to make decisions that are going to be right for you. It's a compass, and you're going to say to me, but what are my values? How do I know? And I've realized I've never made an episode on that. But it's probably because it's so personal and I don't want to do a half-assed job on a podcast, but this is something I do with every single client, whether they come to me for life coaching or career coaching. So you can look at books, you can look online, but otherwise, even just write to me and say, Cecile, I just want to have one session to work on my values. And I don't currently offer that, but I will offer that on the back of this podcast. So drop me an email at info@careercatchup.com and say, hey, can we work on my values? Because I guarantee you those do fluctuate over time, but not that much. And when they fluctuate, it's more like a couple of years at a time. So your values are the things that light you up, that put you into a flow when you're living them. They are like bringing the best out of you. They're you, right? Your identity in emotion, in action. It's how when you show up that way, you reap the benefit. You have the best life, really, and the best career if you apply these into your job. And that is the recipe for my life. And that is always what I aim for. And that's why I say this is your North Star. So know your values and use them and refer to them and use them as a guiding post for whatever is happening and thrown at you. And also your values, very important to use as a guide on how you are spending your time, your weeks, and your energy. So your values should always be reflected in all of that in order for you to have a fulfilling life and then to ride the ups and downs that inevitably will happen. So I'm not saying by knowing your values, that is all you're going to experience in life. Far from it. But as we know, there's so much stuff we don't control that happens to us at work or outside. So that is why it's so crucial to first and foremost define from an intentional point of view what you want to get out of this life, what you want to be doing, because there is a part you control. And I like to see that as before everything else. So do the work on knowing your values and then embedding them into your weeks and into your life. And then life will happen on top of it, right? And when that happens, then you can go back to your values to put a perspective on what has happened. And then you can be like, actually, this is not a big deal. Or actually, this is a big deal. And my life is going to change and I need to do something here, right? So values are the intentional part of your life and you control it. So really take the time to build your values into your plans, into your network, the people you're spending time with, you're giving your attention to, and into your days. And that is the way to live, my friend. Then life will happen on top of that. So always go back and ground yourself in your values. Your top 5. Right? This is really important and should be kind of the backbone of your Career Plus life. So in terms of episode, I can send you to episode number 3, which is about knowing and using your strength. These are not your values, but they are your character traits that are very unique to you. And they're your main ones. And it's a really good thing to know as well alongside your values, because when stuff happens, you do want to play to your strength. Or when you make decisions, always go back to that. So you see where I'm going with that is you have your own unique blueprint. And that's who you are at work and everywhere else in your life. And so you can't dodge that work, actually. And that's where you should start, is get to know yourself. Get to know who is the real you. And also what makes you really happy, what makes you satisfied, and no one else is going to be like you pretty much. So you do the work and then you use that to make decisions in your career and outside of that. Okay, now we are on to my third and last piece of advice when it comes to career. And it is to not run away from your fears. I know. It's the elephant in the room. And that is one of the biggest part of my coaching, is helping you through your fears. And literally, when you come to me, you might not even realize you have them. And it's hard for me sometimes to really explain that, especially to people who are not inside the coaching with me. Because when we start pulling it apart and I start telling them, there's a fear of that, then people are like, oh, wow, yeah, that's right. We all have fears and we cannot get rid of fear. All right? It's part of our life. It's part of our brain, and actually it's healthy. Otherwise, we will be in all sorts of trouble if we didn't have this fight-flight part of our nervous system that keeps us alive. So we are attuned to danger, and thank goodness for that. But when it comes to, for instance, making a different life choice or career choice in this case, we have all those things activated inside us, and it's normal. It's a part of our nervous system, and we have fight or flight, whether we like it or not. Or we may also have the freeze response where we just like pretend it's not happening, we're doing nothing, okay? If you are considering a move, if you've been thinking about it for a long time and it's not happening, I guarantee you it's because of the fears. And we don't talk enough because it's not sexy. And the thing is, our normal way of handling it, I find in the current world, is to run away from it. It's to buffer, it's to avoid it, it's pretend it's not there, or do something else to cover it up, to not feel it. And myself included, of course. But in my work and along all those episodes, I have realized how big a deal that is. It's a big part of the job, and it's so not sexy, but that's the crux of it. You need to address the fears that sit underneath. And I have seen that from day one with my career coaching clients. You think it's that you don't know what you want to do, or you think it might, it's like this practical, rational reason why you need help and you need support. But 99.9% of the time, it's fear. And we have different ones. It could be different ones for you. And it's okay, because every time we want to change, we have fears, and it's normal. But what I want to say here is how you are going to get where you want to go and have a better career and have a better life, which is possible as per number 1, and that is aligned with you as per number 2. How you're going to do that is by looking at your fears and working on them and through them. Yeah, scary, right? But I have done that in my own life too. And this is so empowering, my friend. When you get to that, I cannot, the dividends on you for your personal growth, because you can. There is nothing there. There is no monster that is going to defeat you. But the monster is more the running away from the fear, the ignoring it. Then you give it power and it literally stops you. And I'm not saying, you're going to do something completely crazy that you've never done. It's never about that when we look at a different job. We just have fears that we're not going to get enough money, that we're not going to be good at it, that maybe we're not going to like it, that maybe we're not going to be able to do what it is that we want, that maybe we're too old, or that that's going to impact our home life. And I could go on and on and on. So if this speaks to you, I have designed a workbook just for that. And I know people are like, I don't want to start there. I want to know my next job and I want to do that. But trust me, this is the work and you need to start there. So I have released a digital PDF that is really easy for you to access and download, and you can purchase it on my website. It's a really accessible, low price, and it's called the Career Mindset Shift Workbook. And in there, I list all the potential fears and I guide you through them. And seriously, this is step number 1. And go through it and give yourself that gift. And I guarantee you will go through it so much, no matter what happens afterwards, because you will realize that you can work on these things and that those thoughts aren't true. And that there's another way to think about it. And it's like a balloon that you poke, really. And that is so powerful. And I do that in my life too. And in my career, I always have new fears popping up. Like what I'm going to do after this podcast is new fears. But I have learned so much to make peace with my fears. And to, instead of being scared by them and running away from them, in which case we never do anything and we keep feeling a bit like shit, to be honest. Now I kind of go, okay, I have fear, and I try to stay in the room. It's like you walk into a room, you meet fear, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to run, and never go back there again, right? This is our normal instinct. This is fight or flight. Now I'm like, I go in the room, I feel the fear, and I'm like, ooh, this is uncomfortable. And I sit with the feeling of discomfort, and I'm like, okay, so maybe, or probably now I think this is probably a good thing because I'm feeling discomfort, so I'm probably likely to grow here. Like this is something new. And if I'm here, there's probably a good reason for it. So I'm like, I'm gonna like stick around. So it's this idea of just stretching yourself in that discomfort. And I highly encourage you to listen to my very good episode, if I can say so, based on the feedback, number 87, the discomfort zone. People don't tell you about this stuff. Nobody does. But that is how you're going to get the life that you want. I know it doesn't sell books if I put it on the front cover. It's much better to say, hey, become a millionaire and have the life of your dream. Be the best version of yourself. Yeah. But if any of those books just say, just sit and imagine it or just believe it, get clear, it's not everything and it's not it. Because otherwise you already be there. You have to do the work to uncover what is preventing you from getting there. And 99% of the time, it's your fears. So if you take anything from all those episodes as well, is be acquainted with your fears and welcome them. Let that shadow part of yourself be okay to be and to, accept that. It doesn't mean you're bad and you are not courageous or anything like that. We all have that. But what I'm saying over and over here is don't run away from that. Don't pretend it's not there or suppress it because that will not work. So instead be like curious or be like, I'm going to strap myself in and I'm going to deal with this and I'm going to try. And that is how you you don't defeat fear, but you defeat the power, the stopping power it has on you, because nothing can stop fear like that. When you've decided, you can override it. You can. So accept it and being like, how can I not be scared by that? How can I sit with it and do the thing? So I need to say that here after 99 episodes. It's not all sexy, but this is the work. And oh my God, doesn't it pay off for you when you can just like keep going, get through it. And that's where a coach is amazing for you, because I will hold your hand, because I will believe in you and I will guide you through it. And that's why, you choose your sessions based on how often you need them, so that you don't fall into the pit and go, oh no, I can't do this, and go back to the status quo. That doesn't work anyway. And then life will just have a way of pushing you. So if you've been listening to everything I've been sharing today, it is for a reason. It's because you have a drive, because you have some ideas, you have some desires. So trust that, be carried by that before life forces you to follow them in another way. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. But this really was my last point. Amongst all those episodes, you can better yourself to the nth degree. You can apply all the techniques. You can grow and learn so much. But at the end of the day, if you let your fears run the show, you're not going to get the result that you want. It is through sitting with your fears, adopting them, getting acquainted, as I said, and realizing that you will dissolve the power that they have on you. And then you'll be on the other side and those fears will be gone. And then you continue living your life and find the next batch of fears. But the thing is, every time it gets a little easier, because you're like, okay, another one that I can face now and get through. And it goes on and it never ends. But such is life. And there's so much satisfaction getting through the process and doing that yourself. And then you can inspire other people and you can teach them and you can mentor them to do the same. And collectively, we all grow together. All right, my friends. So these were my last 3 tips after 99 episodes on career coaching. You can change career direction. Don't look at the static models out there and do it your way and get some help. Second, you can always and you should always go back to your values when in doubt, when lost, when anything happens. Be guided, use them as your own compass and like your own truth, and go fiercely with that ahead. And number 3, don't run away from the fears. So actually, just on running away from the fears, I didn't give you, but the episodes that I recommend: 87, Discomfort Zone. Number 69, Overcome Your Fears, is a good one. Number 92, I have covered the main blocks to a career change. And number 98, How to Overcome Self-Sabotage. There you go. I hope that this was informative for you, and I really invite you to go and check out those episodes. They're there for you. They'll always be there. And I look back and I remember when I did episode number 1 in my office during COVID. It was in July 2020, about 4 years ago. Yes, I wish I could do more episodes. I could do them weekly, but I can't. Being a single parent and having a job and a business, and I do them myself. I record and edit them myself, which I know I probably should change one day. But that's why I can't do them more often, and I wish. But I want to say a huge thank you to all of you, to all my lovely and loyal listeners, for being here and, for listening, for downloading all those episodes over the years. It means so much to me, and I'm so glad that I could help you, guide you, inspire you through your Career Plus life over the years, over the month or days, however long you've been listening to me. I have loved doing that, and I will continue, absolutely. And so you'll be like, okay, what's next? So I have been working on expanding my business. It's about adding new things in. I will continue absolutely being who I am and giving you this advice and being a career coach and being a life coach. This is not going away. All of that stays, okay? But I'm adding more. And what I'm adding more are things that are more me, that I have really uncovered in the last 18 months. And I've done the work, and I will share that. I will share how they've come to me and what they are, and they will translate into new things for you, new products, new services. And that means a new season of the podcast, because I feel it's my 2.0 version. We talked today about shifting, evolving your identity. And I did that 7 years ago when I became a career coach. I came from a marketing career in corporate. And it was a massive change. And I feel extremely comfortable in that identity now. And already after a few years, it didn't happen overnight, but it does come. And as it always is, life is in cycles. It's been a few years now. And I've started itching. And I have started thinking about new things. New things have come at me. And I was like, oh, no. But they kept coming at me, and you feel ripe after a while for just the next cycle. And I could feel like things were kind of not wrapping up. I don't want to use that because I continue being that and I love being a coach, but I'm building on. I'm going to the next cycle, the next phase, like an upgrade. And I thought I am going to evolve everything that I do, including in my branding. So my website, careercatchup.com, stays, but there will be another website, cecilferry.com, that will have everything, that will have career and the other parts that I'm adding to my business. And so I got to build that website, and then I will launch season 2 of the podcast. So I'm really planning to do this over the next month-ish. Right? I don't know how that will pan out. There are school holidays in the middle. But so I am just going to say to you here, bear with me. The next episode, the next season may not happen within 2 weeks like I normally do, but it will soon. and it will be ready. And that's a way for me to push myself and get it done, because I can procrastinate and find a million reasons why it's not the right time and all of that. But as I said, episode number 100 is the kick in the butt that I need to launch all of that to you. So I'm very excited. I think you will resonate, I hope, with all those new things that I will cover. I have dropped some hints, so I'm not gonna reveal it all here in 5 minutes at the end of the podcast, but in the next one, you will see it. So I look forward to sharing this next chapter with you. And I'm going to leave you today on this note. And again, saying a massive thank you for your support and for listening over the years with me. It's been my pleasure. I would highly, highly appreciate, if you haven't already done so, if you could just hit the ratings in your podcast app. Just tap on the stars. That is enough to send me a rating and other people, and help other people find this podcast. So if you liked it, you've enjoyed it, just go in, tap the 5 stars. It only takes a few seconds. And I would even love it if you could write me a little review, because that way I get to hear from you, because I may not know you. You may not be a client, you may not be talking to me, but if you're listening to me and you got something out of it, I have helped you, I would love to hear it. Not for my ego, but just to help me continue doing it and to show to other women or other listeners that this show is important and what it brings to you. So it's a testimonial, really. So if you feel like doing that, I would really appreciate it. And I'm very thankful if we can take the end of this season as an opportunity to reflect back and, put that out to the world. And then the right people that need that kind of advice will find the show, I'm confident. So I'm going to love you and leave you, like I said quite often, and I will be back for season 2. So until then, take care, everyone, and have a great couple of days, month, weeks, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to find out more information, you can visit my website at careercatchup.com. There you will find blog articles, free resources, a self-study course for your career direction, and ways to work with me. It's at careercatchup.com. I hope to continue to connect with you and support you. Talk to you soon.